guys, how are you doing today? Today is April, 17th, 2018. Welcome to the Living Life with Laurie show. Today we're going to talk about, what was it? Like the way you feel about life is optional. So it's really cool because don't you guys like my scarf? I got this beautiful new scarf. Sorry if you guys are listening to the audio, you are not going to see my scarf, but you can go to my YouTube channel or my Facebook channel. And and then you can see this beautiful, gorgeous scarf that a girlfriend gifted me. She actually picked it up in Rome. So how did I get so lucky? Feels like I'm wearing her hug. So anyways, okay, let me look at the title again. The way you feel about life is optional. Here, I'm going to move this over here. So yesterday, I am having just an amazing time right now. My husband and our daughter have gone to Europe for 2.5 weeks, and they left last Thursday. So I have had this really interesting time being at home by myself. Well, it'll be the longest that him and I have ever been apart, that's for sure. And I was kind of actually asking for that lately. You know, I was, I can just feel in my head there's like 10 ways or places I want to go with this. But I have wanted to have some time by myself for like about a month. You know, I love to choose a lot of personal growth stuff and asking questions and changing things. And I'm just like a little Chihuahua dog on a bone, where I want to, if I see something that could be a little better in my life, I want to change it, and if I see something that I want a lot better, I want to change it too. So I take classes and read books and all stuff. So yesterday I got up in the morning and I popped on this video, and if you guys have ever heard of Abraham Hicks, it's a woman who channels this group of beings called Abraham. That's what they're called in her world. And, so people will then sit in front of this woman as she channels them, and they ask her questions, like things that we want to know, that these sort of energetic beings from a higher, different, more expansive vantage point have. And so I was making muffins and cooking soup yesterday. Excuse me. And watching or listening to this one video with them, with this Esther Hicks and her husband, Jerry Hicks, who of course passed away a few years back. And one of the things that I heard Abraham said, there was two that really just jumped out at me yesterday. And one of them was the way you feel about life is optional. Yeah, that says so much. It's so simple and it says so much. So the other one that I got, I didn't realize how, I put both of these on Facebook yesterday, and I didn't realize actually how much they were similar or sort of read towards the same kind of energy. You can't look at what you don't want and create a wonderful world. So we can't look at what we don't want and create a wonderful world. So that leads me next to kind of a bit of a rant. So, I personally, I really enjoy Facebook. I would say that I enjoy probably 90% of it. And for some reason, yesterday, I noticed that it was kind of getting to me, the amount of people that were commenting about the weather. Now, here, I will show you. Okay, so I live in rural Alberta, and if you can see that, it's not working very well, is it? Let's see there, can you see that? Yesterday, we got a lot of snow. It was kind of a crazy day. And a lot of people were complaining about it. Hey, Stacy, thanks for watching. Hi. And I noticed actually it wasn't just even in Alberta. I noticed it all over the world. Like I noticed people in the United States were commenting about the weather. And And I think the ones that really that I happened to notice the most was, I noticed the ones that were actually complaining. Hey, Eleanor, hi, nice to see you. Is what I noticed is the ones that were complaining about the weather. And where my mind went, and I did have a bit of a point of view, so I look at that too. When I have a reaction to what someone else does or says, I look at what that is for me. Because, you know, I'm the one that I want to set myself free, right? So when I looked at what I titled this Facebook Live today is "The way you feel about life is optional," is I really noticed that there are so many things in our lives that we can't say necessarily change. So there's a lot of things we can, you know, we create pretty much most everything that's in and around our experience. But about the one thing that we can control and change the most is our perspective and how we look at something. And so I was really looking at this, it really just came to mind, and I really get, like with the two quotes that I pulled out of the Abraham videos I was watching yesterday, you know, the way you feel about life is optional. You can't look at what you don't want and create a wonderful world. And so I was looking at that with regards to the weather and going, well, we live in Alberta. I remember the year, this was years ago, but the year my grandfather, my Guido, died, there was a snowstorm in May. My brother had to fly from Calgary, which is a city about 3 hours away from Edmonton, where the funeral was being held. And so it was like pretty wild, you know? And so it's not surprising. But what I really noticed, and I get that this is where I get, like it gets almost like hard on my heart and I have to be an allowance of it and let it go, is that I see so many people upset about things that they can't control and allowing that to take away the joy from their day. Now, trust me, I know this way too well. So, like, way too well. So, it's almost like we're hardwired, and I'm sure that I've read or heard that somewhere in a book or an audio or something, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who does this brain, you know, stuff and, you know, studies the neurons in our brains and stuff, and the fight or flight. And is that it's almost like we're more hardwired to notice the negative. It's like a protective thing, you know? So let's notice the negative so we know how to keep ourselves safe. And what I've discovered is how incredibly, like, out of control we've gone with that. And out of, oh my gosh, I lost the other thing I was going to say, but say out of control with it. Like it's gone to the point where we've lost so much of the joy and the possibilities and the contributions of what people and this world have to offer us. And so for me, like if I'm going to look at this weather that I showed you outside, is that, you know, I'm so grateful that I have a beautiful house to be in, you know, and is it wedging me? If you guys know what a wedgie is like something that, you know, kind of makes you, you know, someone says something to you and it keeps kind of like you keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, but it's like a message to you for you to figure something out, ask a question about, and then figure out what that wedgie is for you. So say if I was looking outside and the weather is like awful again, and the weather's kind of like honey. We're trying to let you know that your happiness is not based on us. Now, that isn't the same as having a preference. You can absolutely have a preference. You know, I love it when I get to wear dresses and skirts. My body loves that so much. And, you know, and shorts in the summer or walking on the grass with bare feet. That is really fun for me. And I also really don't mind the winter. I'm totally fine. I remember, I think it was this year in January, my hubby and I went to Mexico. We went with a whole bunch of people from his work. And, you know, when him and I were flying home, we were really looking forward to going home. And I looked at him and I said, like, I was really grateful that him and I have that same sort of point of view that we enjoy coming home to our home. And, you know, this is actually where our home is. So we live on a farm in rural Alberta, about an hour northeast of Edmonton, which is the capital city of Alberta. And we really enjoy it here. And so we're willing to take like what comes with the choice to live here. And so for, you know, is there people, like when people are complaining about the weather, or say if I was complaining about the weather, what I would do is I would ask myself, you know, do I need to create vacations away? Is there something different I can do for myself? What kind of hobbies or things can I do to entertain myself so that I can enjoy it when it's like this outside? You know, I went outside yesterday and I mean, jeepers, it was raining and then it was snowing and it was like, how does it get any better? I don't have to drive today. Yeah, I was really grateful for that. And, you know, so I'm not a fan of driving on bad roads, you know, and people probably have to drive on those roads that have to go to work or something like that. And I just wonder, you know, when we don't know, and this is one of the beautiful things I've learned over the last, you know, handful of years, is the ability to be in question and ask, what's right about this I'm not getting? What else is possible here with this weather that beyond anything I could ever imagine? How much fun could I have with this? One question I love to ask is, what generative energy, space, and consciousness can my body and I be to be the generative energy, space, and consciousness of wealth, prosperity, and consciousness with total ease and fun and playfulness and, you know, and allow that. And that's the thing, is that like I'm getting it. This is sort of getting into a whole new subject where, like, because when you ask questions, like for people who aren't new to asking questions, when you ask a question, it's not to receive an answer. There may be an energy that comes up, but it's not to actually receive an answer. It's actually to let the universe or God source or God or, you know, all that is, whatever you call it, it allows you to ask that of the universe. And the universe is like, oh, that's what she would like. She would love to have like wealth and prosperity and consciousness and fun. And yeah, and like what else would be possible with that? So I really like when I read that or heard that yesterday, the way you feel about life is optional. The reason why too, that it's also been so big in my world lately, is that I realized it was way easier for me to choose to be happier and positive and stuff when I was out with other people. I could choose that easily. You know, if my legs were bothering me, or if, you know, there was an annoying person in the room, or the weather wasn't great, you know, I was with these fun people, and so I wouldn't let it bother me. And so I would choose, but that's the thing, is I would actually choose something different. So I wasn't acknowledging that, and now I am. And then, but what I noticed is when I was at home by myself, if I was, say, annoyed with something that my hubby had done, or maybe I was annoyed. Oh, we got these brand new cute little puppies. Okay, I can't take you to see them today. I told Susie I would show you guys them on one of these Facebook Lives, and I will. Today is not the day with the weather, and seeing them first thing in the morning like this, they will jump all over me. And so I will need to show you them another time. But with these new puppies, they are something I was asking for. And sometimes it's a bit of a handful, as they are puppies and they are learning to sit, and they are so excited to see me in the morning, and they want to jump all over me, and they want to jump because they're excited. And so I'm in the process right now of training them. And I found myself, when I'm by myself, wanting to go to that sort of default of, oh my God, this is so annoying. And then I get carried away in it without realizing and just forgetting for a moment that I actually asked for it. So it's like, if we are frustrated with where we live, well, we're frustrated with the weather. What is that for us? Do we actually desire to live? Or live? Oh my God. What? God, people, delete. Okay. Where do we actually desire to live? You know, do we desire to have something different in our lives? Is there something we can ask and create for? Where are we not happy in our lives that the weather is making that loud? Because, you know, that was sort of another thing that I noticed, like, through my journey of this, is that if I started to have something annoying me, like, say, the weather, okay, what I noticed for me, as I became more aware of myself and more aware of what was going on, it was the weather was being the wedgie or the annoying poke in the eye that was letting me know that I was unhappy somewhere in my life. So, you know, for some people, you can be unhappy in the relationship you're in, and the weather, and you don't have it in you to really be honest with yourself that that's what's bothering you. So the weather comes up, it's not what you expected, and you get annoyed. But it's really not about the weather. It's like, it's almost pointless. Like, it's kind of funny, because, like, if I was complaining about the weather, it'd be like standing there, like, banging my head against a cement wall, right? And how crazy would that be? So anyways, just, you know, look in your life. Like, the way you feel about life is optional. Is there a place in your life where, you know, it's annoying? And could you ask some questions about it and find out actually what's true for you? You know, what actually is really bothering you? Like, what is really bothering you? Hey, hi, Laurie. Nice to see you. Yeah, gosh, you know, like, just, there's so many different perspectives. And, you know, another thing that I've really learned over the last couple of years too, is that there's not just like a happy or sad. You know, there's such a different range too that you can feel about things. So if I say, you know, don't be upset about the weather, it doesn't mean you have to be happy about it. You can just, like, you know, what's it going to take to have more ease with this? What would it take for this to be more fun? You know, how can I have this not bother me quite so freaking much? You know, is it a good Netflix and chill day, girls? Huh? I wonder. Hi, Tanya. I mean, really, what else is possible on these snowy days? So, well, and then, like with the other quote, you can't look at what you don't want and create a wonderful world. Like, really, you know, there's so much that we do unconscious. Hey, and I'm totally speaking for myself, because what's interesting is I know as I choose more and I choose more and I choose more, I start unraveling even more areas where I was choosing unconsciousness with regards to my perspectives and my projections and the things that I was looking at. And so, like, you can't look at what you don't want and create a wonderful world. Like, really, if you look at that, hi, Teresa, if you really look at that and you, like, get a sense of how that feels in your body. And so, just like right now, even if I just invited you, just like, think of someone that, okay, annoys the shit out of you, okay? Right now. So think about it. Come on. We all have one. I know. So now get a sense of how that feels in our body, okay? Or it could even just be about how you feel about the weather, okay? If that's not so hot in your world, okay? Now think about someone you adore. Do you have a new grandbaby? Do you have a daughter? Do you have a son? Do you have a really great friend who, you know, contributes to you? Like, who in your life do you have that, you know, that you just adore? Now get a sense of how that feels in your body. Now, for me, when I thought about somebody that was really annoying, I felt really contracted. I felt heavy. I was like, ugh, You know, when I think about someone that I adore, someone who contributes to me, my grandson, my future grandbaby that's cooking, you know, I get this expansive and light. Now, when we're really honest with ourselves and we're really able to take the time, and this is something I avoided for a really, 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 really long time, was listening to me. I would listen to everybody else. I learned a lot that way. That was really great. It was really great. I got such good information. And then what I found was that until it really didn't start to change, like things that I really wanted to change, and my perspective about things didn't really change until I started to really get honest with me. So when I look at, hey Janice, nice to see you. So when I really looked at how I felt, how my body felt, was something that made me feel good or bad. So say with this person, like what kind of world are we creating if we're always focusing on the weather we don't like, the people we don't like, the body that we don't like, the work that we don't like? Like, God, like, do you feel that? Like, if you have, and please don't make yourself wrong if you don't have any awareness of the energy and how that feels in your world. It's a muscle that you build. We've kind of lost it over the years, and it's there. It just is like a rebuild. That's all it is. So what else is possible? And so as I was just even saying, all those things that we don't like, as we focus on those, as we look at those, as we give them energy and our time and the just whatever in our world, we actually invite more of that into our world. So if you're able to turn and go, okay, so we look at the weather, and like I said earlier, it's like, I'm lucky I get to be inside today. I have or if someone has to drive, I've got a great vehicle with good tires and 4-wheel drive. You know, luckily, or just whatever it is, or I'm going on a holiday in 6 months, or that's it. I'm going to make a demand. I'm going to Mexico next week, or, you know, whatever it is that you need to do that you can gift to yourself to create a different perspective. And, I'd heard this on an audio just recently last week. You don't have to look for a complete end result. You just need to look for a change. So that's one thing I didn't realize. Wow, that's actually frying me just as I'm saying it. If, like, all you have to do is change your perspective, that in itself is like a little miracle, okay? So if you go from, oh my God, I hate this weather, and then you go, you know what, but look at how lucky I am to be inside. Allow yourself to just sit in that, okay? Just allow yourself to sit in that and grow. And allow that to move forward, like to allow that energy to create forward for you with the wonderful world that you desire to create. Now, honestly, guys, like, this seems so simple, and I resisted this for so freaking long. Hey, Erin, welcome. And what I noticed is that it's that little bit. So if you're angry and you get yourself to just that little bit of, you know, you take the charge off it. You're just like, say you're really upset with somebody right now, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to go journal, or I'm just not going to think about this right now. I'm just going to let myself know that this is something that is going to be taken care of. Not where you energetically shove it back, because if you actually don't take it and clean it up, change the energy, even just like a millisecond, it's going to stay where it was. So, you know, where people will say, well, just get over it. Like, just get over the weather. You know, how does that ever make you feel better? Don't you want to just tell them to, like, yeah, I know. You just want to tell them to F off, right? Yes, that's right, Eleanor. A different perspective creates change. Hey, Natalie. So, like, oh my God, I'm realizing as I'm talking now that this is such a big, like, it's such a big subject. It's something that is so simple, you know, like, just the way you feel about life is optional. It's so simple. Yet, with what we've been taught, that we have no control over our lives, that we have no control over anything, we react. We react to the weather. We react to our jobs. We react to our spouses. We react to our bodies. I did that forever, not knowing that just changing our perspective, just even a little bit, can change your whole life. Okay? And what I noticed for myself, because trust me, this has been a muscle that I've had to build. You know, I didn't create this intensity and limitation in my body for nothing. Like, I mean, in some ways, like, I worked hard in this puppy to not create a space in my life and my body that was energetically congruent to thriving. So as much as I had like a persona of happiness, and that really is really who I be, when I was inside all alone with me, that wasn't there. That the negativity was there, the hopefulness was there, the destruction, the despair, the disappointment. And so I didn't know that in just getting over it, just try to get over it, Laurie, just like, don't let that bother you. In trying to just push it away, actually never ever took care of it. What it did was it sat and it simmered. So like, you know those people when you go and you say something to them and they rack like they're 5 years old and you're looking at them and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Well, often that is repressed emotions in their body, repressed feelings and emotions that have information for them, that if they go back to that time and whatever that is for them, and they love themselves and they take care of themselves and they nourish themselves and they love that part of them and give themselves what they need and whatever they required and the information that you know now to gift to them, it's like being with that and giving the space, it actually then changes it. And then those reactions magically disappear. Oh my gosh, how does it get any better? Because you know what? I've done a lot of classes, and you know, there's some classes I even still take where, depending on the facilitator, depending on the kind of class, you know, we're very much, not we, I'm saying there's a lot of people out there that are very, you know, just get over it, just work harder, just get on with it, just do this, you know, and that is really effective when you have all of you. Okay? That is really effective when you have all of you. And what I discovered is that I kept pushing myself with that, and my body was trying to let me know that I had these things from my past, energies that I was holding on to, that I wasn't able to let go of. And when I actually began, and trust me, it was not easy, because I thought taking time for me was a waste of time. I thought it was silly that what I needed to get done was out there. It mattered how much money I made, how successful a business was. But I didn't realize that I needed to go kind of to the core of me, love that up. And then when you are in that space, like you guys know, I'm sure you can all relate, when you are in that space of empowerment and you feel lit up inside, like when you're there, like you could do anything. Anybody could tell you to just about do anything. You could handle it. You could rock it. You'll have fun with it. And it's like amazing. Like you just get the resonance of that, the energy of that, right? And so when something isn't matching that energy, it's just like, you know, what is this? What do I need to take care of? And I really did. I resisted that whole idea of taking care of me, you know? So, you know, the way you feel about life is optional, and you can look at what you don't want and create, and you can't look at what you don't want and create a wonderful world. Yeah, inside of me before, And again, like I said, I'm growing this muscle. I'm looking for more and more each day, each moment for what I do want. What do I, with my hubby gone right now, we've been together for a really long time. I've changed a lot over time. I'm not sure if he has. It would depend what he would say. But I know that I've changed, and I'm noticing that I'm looking for different things. And I'm noticing right now, while he's gone in Europe with our daughter, I'm getting to find my world, and I'm getting to know these things that I want to ask for. And they're things that I'm aware of that I wanted prior, but I'm getting the clarity now. Now, what I'm doing is instead of going, okay, this has really got to change. And boy, when he gets home, I got to talk to him about this. This doesn't work for me. I don't like this. I require more attention, or blah, 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 whatever, right? What I've been doing is I'm going, okay, what do I actually want? And then getting into the energy of just not even asking it for him, of him. Because how many ways could the universe surprise me with what I'd actually like to have? Is I'd love to have people that are more present with me. So what would that be like? Oh, if I get into the energy of someone being present with me, someone who's taking the time to be present with me and to be having like quality time, that just lights me up. Now, I find like even right now as I'm tapping into that energy, it just makes me smile. I feel good. I feel happy. And so I'm allowing that energy to actually build. I'm so grateful we're doing this, because I know that if I'd have been by myself, I would have tapped into that and I would have went, oh yeah, that feels good. Okay. All right, that's good. I'm going to go make some tea. Whereas having you guys here watching, and really thank you so much for watching, is that I'm allowing myself to really sit in that energy and acknowledge that it's actually creating lightness in my legs. My heart, I'm aware of my heart. My world feels lighter. I have a sense of more possibilities. And allowing that to grow. Now, it may be, or it may not be that when he comes back from Europe, he's the one who chooses to have more quality time with me. But I'm asking it for my life. So how does it get any better? And what else is possible? Yeah. So like, if I could just like invite you guys, I don't know if you guys have struggled with it or not. I just know for me, it has really been an interesting journey to, I was shocked at how negative I was in my head and how my body actually has reflected that for a really long time. The thing is that I couldn't see it before. I couldn't see it before because I couldn't allow myself to see it before because I had so much judgment of myself. And if I would have allowed myself to see how negative I actually thought about life, like in my head, I would have thought that I had to judge myself more. Well, now I know that that's optional too. Judging myself or not judging myself is actually optional too. So when I go into a space and I'm realizing how I have some negative thoughts about myself or someone else, I'm able to go in and not judge myself, be into a space of kind of like kindness and honoring and allowance. And I'm able to be with myself and ask myself what I require, what do I need to change, what do I need to look at here? Whew, I could tell it's changing because I yawn. I yawn when I change. I'm not tired. Honestly, I had a great sleep. Hey, Laurie, honey. Good morning. And so, like, that's what I noticed is, so if you find that in your world that you notice that you're thinking negatively about someone else, or that you're thinking negatively about the weather, or you're thinking negatively about these cute new 2 little puppies that we have, just be with yourself and really just be with yourself. And what I love to do too is like Sometimes when I don't, like even though I'm 52, I don't know how to facilitate or help myself. So I actually call in my 90-year-old and I ask her, I'm like, honey, I need you. You know, what would my 90-year-old say to me? Or what would you say to a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old that was struggling with something? Would you say, oh, just get over it? Oh, come on. You know? Or would you love them? Would you hold them? Would you be kind to them and be an allowance and gift them the space to find out what they require for themselves? And that's something I really started this last, I would say, especially this last year. And what it ends up, and now that I've done that, I've been able to actually get to this place that when I do find myself going down like a negative rabbit hole towards someone or something or a situation or a vehicle or whatever, I'm able to stop myself because I don't have to judge myself now to look at what's going on. I can just, you know, the way I feel about me is optional. You know, I can choose to be negative and I can choose to be in allowance. Now, there's no right or wrong to what you choose, and I love to look at which one is going to create more. So, you know, which one is actually going to create more for you? You know, is being in judgment of yourself or being in judgment of the snow or being in judgment of your body or being in judgment of a relationship or being in judgment of your job? Yeah, it's just being the space of allowing a different possibility in just a teeny, teeny, teeny little way. And know that that teeny, teeny, teeny little way is an invitation to so much more. So I just wanted to see, oh my gosh, it's 8:37. You guys, I was going to do this for half an hour. I've been doing this for like 37 minutes now. How does it get any better? Oh my gosh, it's been so much fun. Oh, I got so carried away. But anyways, so I just really want to invite you to a different possibility today. That if there's one thing, you know, whatever, like if there's something that shows up in your world that annoys you, feels frustrating, feels disappointing, you know, whatever, I wonder if you could just sit with yourself and just be with it. And just be with it. Just be with it. Don't do anything. Don't ask anything of yourself. Don't think you have to do anything with it. Just be with it. Yeah, like just that. Okay, I gotta say this one more thing. So when I was on an audio last week, I heard this woman shared a really cool exercise that I hadn't heard before. And it's something so simple and it doesn't require anything, okay? So you imagine the frustration or the disappointment or whatever that you have, okay? So pick a disappointment or a frustration that's in your world right now. And I want you to just imagine it like a ball, like right in front of you, okay? Okay, now I want you to imagine you walking in to that ball of energy. And if you can't, that's okay. Sometimes it depends on the intensity of the emotions and the feelings with this, that it just feels too big. So just stay present with it. Just stay out. Like, don't worry about going inside. I found that I've been able to go inside right away. So, you know, maybe you think someone's talking about you, or let's just say the weather. So the weather doesn't bother me though. I got to think of something else. But anyways, so walk into that ball, okay? Just allow yourself to be present in that ball. And just allow yourself to just be there. And see what changes. And if you want, you can even come back out again and go into a different side of the ball and look at it from a completely different perspective. I know you might think that that's silly, Laurie. Really try it. So go in and then just sit there. It's like a whole different perspective. So last week I had something trigger me. And it was something I'd seen on Facebook, totally unrelated to the weather. And that's what I did. I put all the energy in front of me and I walked in. And I allowed some of the energy to dissipate. It started to change. I started to notice a difference. And again, don't judge yourself if you're not aware of a difference. It is a muscle that you build, okay? I remember when I first started doing this stuff, I'm like, I thought people were crazy. Now I'm crazy too. But then with this situation, I came out and I walked in from a different perspective. Then I came out again and I walked in from another perspective. And then I walked out and then I came back in from another perspective. And I allowed that change in perspective, that change in energy, that little change that did not show anything in the outside world, I allowed that to be a huge change. That really is a miracle. That is something that's like magic. It will create change in your world. And it's like being with you and being with what's going on. And who knows, you may have got awarenesses about something. You may have found out something about why something's bothering you and it created just an even bigger change in your world. But just know that it just needs to be a little one to actually create a change. And that it is possible to have an optional feeling about something that, I really love that. The way you feel about life is optional. And knowing that we have choice, that we do have choice with how we feel about something, with how we react to something. And that it only has to be a little bit. It doesn't have to be, I feel frustrated, I have to feel happy. God, who can make that bridge? That's like impossible, I'm sure some people can sometimes. And what if it just needs to be a little bit and just a little bit and just a little bit? So anyways, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm so grateful for you. And I got to pull a card. Okay, let's see what card wants to come today. Oh, expansion. We got expansion, people. So what can we expand on today? Aren't those pretty cards? Oh, so love them. So can you expand into more of you? How does it get any better? Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Eleanor, Laurie, Erin, Natalie, Tanya, so excited for you. So grateful. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.